When you come from this lineup of parents, there is heavy expectations on you.
So there's this saying that to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes.
And, when you're on your own journey and you've watched people that have had like significant strides, that pressure, I would say it's even self-inflicted. And you feel the need to prove yourself. And sometimes I think, Pimo, you know my journey.
Yes.
I've gone through different phases in this journey of integration into the family business, from trying to do my own thing to coming into the business feeling entitled, having the backlash from that entitlement, and also like going back to like reevaluate and reintegrate and prove myself.
Hello everyone, welcome to Touch the Sky. On today's episode, I have a very special guest. She is an incredible business leader. She is a director in Nepal Energies. She's also the CEO of 234 Finance, an organization that hosts conferences, teach financial education, and does a lot of work with investments and helping entrepreneurs to grow. She comes with great experience as to generations, having come from a lineup of business leaders in her family. So we're going to talk about generational transfer today. And my guest is Ezinne Nwazulu. Great to have you on Touch the Sky.
Thank you for having me.
Touch the Sky podcast.
Happy
Welcome.
to be here.
Thank you.
I wanna go to the sky, I wanna see through your eyes. Hey, I'm not believing the lies, I'm not believing the lies. I wanna go to the sky, I wanna see through your eyes. Hey, I'm not believing the lies, I'm not believing the lies. Hey,
You've been an amazing voice for small business. What has been your biggest inspiration so far getting up to that conversation, and what drove you to that space?
Okay. So, I can't talk about inspiration without talking about my mom,
Yes.
who is a mentor figure in my life.
Right.
And seeing how, I pretty much grew up in an incubator. I'll call my house an incubator. So if you think about the typical Igbo family about 20, 30 years ago, it's still applicable today. What you find is that there's a successful uncle,
Yes.
and they're bringing their relatives,
Right.
and they set them up, and the home is like an incubator. So I grew up in that environment where my mom and dad, empowered a lot of their relatives, and, a lot of them are doing well on their own. And I think that, inspired what we do at 234, just creating an ecosystem that would leapfrog entrepreneurs to be able to thrive.
So good, so powerful. So you were in that house having all these business conversations. What did you do here? How did you invest here? This is what you think you should do. So you're hearing this counsel firsthand as your parents. We're talking to these relatives who are now entrepreneurs or business surrogates, as it were, for them.
Yeah, so maybe not in the fancy way
Okay?
that you're saying it, but I always was embedded in an environment where there was always business or transaction, or, just things happening around me. And it was very fast paced. It wasn't the conventional. I would say my mom did everything she could, but it wasn't like, I didn't have like conventional stay-at-home mom, right? My parents were always very active together. And at some point they were working together. My mom really started off as my dad's secretary.
Wow.
Doing a different line of business.
Yes.
And, from there, she also started cutting her teeth and getting her hands, dirty in business, in different things. So even the family business I'm a part of is something I would say she stumbled on and has nurtured in about 2 decades, and it's evolved. But she started as a small business, as a typical small business, trying to solve a problem for her family, supporting her husband, and now she's built an empire from that. Yeah.
Nepal is incredible. So many across the value chain of the oil and gas sector. She's both midstream, downstream, and now upstream as well.
Yes, so Nepal isn't just an indigenous company. We're also a Pan-African company with offices in South Africa, Zambia, Mozambique, and counting. And we really see. So with Nepal, it's about looking at opportunities, looking at gaps, and looking at how to close the gaps. And there's also an empowerment, if I can speak for my MD, who is my mom, there's also an empowerment angle of, okay, I want to be able to create work for people. So that's also what drives her, like having this platform where she can also empower people and, they're able to grow from there. So it's really about just, solving problems and creating value.
Creating value. So good. So good. So powerful. Now, one of the things that happens is that when you come from this lineup of parents, there is heavy expectations on you. You understand? There's heavy expectations. You are supposed to now, you're no more just a child. You are now an extension of the family line, especially being the first daughter. Has that put some pressure on you?
Oh, absolutely. So there's this saying that to whom much is given, much is expected.
Yes.
And when when you're on your own journey and you've watched people that have had like significant strides, that pressure, I would say it's even self-inflicted. And you feel the need to prove yourself. And sometimes I think, Pimo, you know my journey.
Yes.
I've gone through different phases in this journey of integrating, I'll call it an integration into the family business, from trying to do my own thing to coming into the business feeling entitled, having the backlash from that entitlement, and also like going back to like reevaluate and reintegrate and prove myself. So I think it's it's a whole learning curve. And there's something I would say. I think a lot of our parents who start businesses, they don't really start with the mindset of, okay, I want to hand down to the next generation. And that can be a challenge, because when you realize that, okay, you're not going to run this business forever actively, then you're almost trying to, force. Sometimes, it even doesn't work with, you have adult children who have forged their own pathway. They have their own careers, and you realize that, oh, wow, I don't have a successor.
Right.
So I think, it's something that has to be intentional. Fortunately, we are blessed to have a very young and active mom who has always thought about, for as far back as maybe 10, 15 years, she's always talked about succession, and she's been very, very intentional about it. And when I say intentional, it's not been like a forced thing, it's an engagement thing.
Right.
And, building that relationship. And I think for her, she's very fortunate because we're all very close to our mom. So, we don't want to disappoint her. We've seen how much she's suffered in this journey of building Nepal. And, we've seen different phases of even management staff, disappointing, giving your business to people to manage, and they're doing, something else. And her coming to that realization that, listen, it's only my children that I really have at the end of the day, right? So she's also gone through different phases,
journey as well.
And that realization that this is important. And most importantly, being blessed with having children that are actually interested in running the business.
And competent, because you guys are all well trained. You went to school in Canada, in Switzerland.
I worked in Switzerland, yes.
Yeah, you have quite some global experience yourself before you came back to Nigeria to join the business. And so also your brother as well. Yes. So your parents took the time to train you guys thoroughly. So you guys are not just, how my mama get time or something like that. It's not just that. You have like real competence they are bringing to the table. I remember a friend of mine whose father owned a free zone enterprise in Nigeria. And all his friends were always saying that this guy is not competent at all. He's just a trust fund child. Do you understand? How do you feel people extend that? First of all, when they don't know you, think of you as if you're just your mom's rubber stamp, or do they actually see you in your authority and knowing that you know the business, you know exactly what you're saying? I saw you cutting your teeth, traveling to Kano, standing with the guys, going to Bayelsa, going to Makodi to open those gas stations when your mom was going downstream.
Yeah.
Right. So you were hands-on, you rolled up your sleeves, you did quite some work. So speak to that, because sometimes the young people always think that it's just about them. Do you understand? It's just about them taking over. And I had a friend who, when his father owned the Free Zone Enterprise in Nigeria, and there were billions of dollars in investments, and they were doing really great business. But when this guy took over, all his friends, who were also our mutual friends, were saying that, oh, he's not qualified, he doesn't know anything, he's just his daddy's favorite. And that's why he got the companies. Now, I've seen you labor, I've seen you hustle, I've seen you break your back, I've seen you travel in the night, early in the morning, wake up. I've seen you go to Zambia to negotiate deals, South Africa. I've seen you carry the business yourself and stretch it to another space. So speak to that. What would you say to a young person who may be watching this, maybe comes from an influential background? What should they carry in mind as to the doggedness they need to carry the business to a new time? Do you understand? Because that's actually part of what your mom was looking for in you, whether you're going to be strong and bold and and bullish enough as she is. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So, okay. So in the first part, you have to prove yourself.
Right.
There's no question for that. And I'm going to share, my journey with Nepal.
Yes.
I started, then I ran away, then I came, and somehow I found my way back. So I'll tell you the difference between those two seasons. So in the first season, I had just come fresh from the banking sector to Nepal with this entitled mindset of wanting to change everything, right? This is not good. This is not good. And I was stretching myself thin, trying to fix an organization that I haven't quite understood yet. And I didn't, because no matter the old way people, our parents are doing their business or a company structure, there are reasons why they are that way, right? So I struggled because I didn't quite see where I fit in or where I could shine and prove myself. But my second encounter back to Nepal, I had an opportunity. And as you know, I'm very passionate about startups. I'm very passionate about starting something from the ground up. My background has always been business development, and seeing something that didn't exist and building it into something meaningful is something I derive a lot of joy in doing. So my second opportunity to work in Nepal, I had the opportunity to start the retail business. So Nepal, prior to 2020, when COVID happened, we had just been a downstream distribution trading company. And we saw some of the things that we're seeing now. We saw the trends that, okay, in this oil and gas industry, you can't just, trade, bring in products, because we're importers of petroleum products, and take it to the depot and just sell in bulk. You have to play across the entire value chain to the last mile, right? And we didn't have any downstream infrastructure on ground. And I've never done, prior to that, I had never done oil and gas, talk less of running downstream retail business that has so many moving parts. So I think, and it's the most difficult business in the entire oil and gas value chain.
Yeah.
And I was able to prove myself in that. And how was I able to do this? Just having a teachable spirit and learning on the job. A lot of what I know today in retail was really on the job. I was the head of retail with zero experience, managing people that were 20 years, 15 years into the business. So it takes a lot of, being able to just humble yourself and understand how retail works. And I was able to make that happen. I'm not going to bore you with the details and, a lot of ups and downs. But today it's undeniable in Nepal that, Ezinne started that business. And even till tomorrow, somehow I find myself dabbling into retail affairs, maybe through a connection that I have or something. And I had to earn the respect of everyone, because there's something people don't understand, right? Especially when you're coming to work in a family business. The owners of those business trust their management, and they have to, because they need to be able to delegate to those people. So if you're coming into your family business with the mindset of, all of these people are bad, regardless of how bad those people are, there's a value that they add to the organization that keeps them there. So you need to know, okay, how do I work with the current system on ground, right?
Yes.
You work with the current system on ground, then you integrate into that system, then over time, change can happen, right? So you need to earn the trust of the people in the system. Personally, I'm someone that likes to work within the system. You would never find me trying to boycott, except I feel is a necessary evil. I always try to work within the framework of the system that Nepal operates in. So if there's something that is a HR conversation, I'm calling the HR person. If it's a CFO conversation, I'm calling the CFO or the people in finance. So I try to make sure I'm not, boycotting the process, right? And any efficient CEO should be able to delegate. So if you're going to come into a system on a management level, because I'll say I came in on a pretty advanced level. Some people may have to work their way from the bottom, right? And I mean, working in Nepal retail was the lowest and the smallest business at the time. And now the business that Nepal retail is doing, I'm not going to call numbers, but it's so significant that MD is very, hands-on, eyes on that business. And this was a business that nobody really, it also wasn't a threat to people that are handling the bigger businesses in Nepal, because just one station. I mean, if you compare it with, the trading business that we have, it was nothing.
Right.
But now it's the most important business in Nepal today, and we're on our way to 50 stations.
Wow.
So, that being said,
so good.
I had to prove myself in retail. And there's this thing that they say, the price of good work is more work. So over time, more responsibilities will be given. You won't even ask for it. It will be given to you. And I'll speak about my brother, who is currently the COO of Nepal. He but he managed a business, a travel business.
Yes.
My mom is so skillful. He was in Dubai and he had his whole plan of going into consultancy. I'm not going to say so much of his story for him. And somehow, skillfully, she was able to tie, his interest into travel and use that to make him move back to Nigeria. But he was able to somehow make that business work.
Yes.
And when there was an opening for a COO role, she knew that she wasn't just giving this to someone that would mess it up, but someone that has actually proven himself, in other of our subsidiaries. So I think proving yourself is very important to earn the respect of, the founder of that business.
So powerful. Yeah. So powerful. Now, there's this scripture that says, I will turn the hearts of the fathers. It's in Malachi chapter 4. As the Old Testament rounded up, this scripture came up that says, I will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the hearts of children to their fathers, lest I come and strike the earth with a curse. This is talking about generational transfer. Have you seen your parents struggle with handing over, with integrating, because they wanted it? But in the first time, you've spoken very wisely about yourself and how you learned, but it wasn't also a walk in the park for them. Yeah. What were the difficulties you saw the older people, your dad struggling, your mom struggling to pass the business baton to you guys? What was their struggle that you saw?
So I would say the major struggle is just being set in their ways, right? These are the Gen Xers. Yeah. And they're used to doing things a certain way.
Yes.
And it works for them. And, coming... And, I also talked about proving yourself, right? So when you're able to prove yourself in certain areas, then it's easier to earn their trust when you're bringing new ideas. And there's something I always say about my mom, like, if she doesn't believe something or doesn't believe in something, she will fiercely kick against it. But the moment she realizes, she'll be your biggest cheerleader. And I think specifically for my mom, when there was like a turning point was when she went to Harvard.
Wow.
She went to Harvard, she did the OPM program. And she realized that a lot of the things my brother and myself were telling her, this was what they were teaching her, that she paid so much money to learn. And just having an open mind. So I think it's also been very much a journey for her, and just being aware that, the next generation is here, and there has to be that balance of, yes, you want them to listen to you, but you're also listening, and being able to make those adjustments. Those adjustments don't happen overnight, but when they do, it's actually quite almost surprising. And there's something I always say about my mom, like, if she doesn't believe something or doesn't believe in something, she will fiercely kick against it. But the moment she realizes, she'll be your biggest cheerleader. So I think, it's been a journey on both sides, and it's been a thing of
and
each.
adjust,
It's
each
adjustment
adjusting.
from both sides.
So that scripture was actually saying that if children don't have anybody passing anything to them, those children are cursed. They are cursed is the starting all over from the scratch.
Yeah.
The parents who are cursed for not having someone to transfer their assets to are also cursed because it means they don't have legacy.
Yes.
It means their entire good work dies with them.
Yes.
So it's so powerful for this generational transfer to happen, whether it's spiritually, whether it's even business, whether it's a church we're talking about. The pastor must have many people he can transfer the congregation to.
Exactly.
The father must have sons he can transfer the businesses to. And this is actually the ecosystem that God wants to build. God wants the old and the young to handshake together. And I'm so glad to see it happen in your own case so beautifully. And also, I was there one of the times when you remember one of the times when we were talking about how to make the adjustments that are required. It was so good to see it now today working out so well. So kudos to you and your mind expansion as well. Now, the next question I want to ask you is about 234 Finance.
Okay.
234 Finance is a company that you have built from the scratch up as well, that has to do with empowering businesses and entrepreneurs. Do you feel like a God-sent agenda in this business? Tell us more about what your convictions are that helped you to build and sustain 234 Finance.
Okay. So 234 Finance started really as a blog over 11 years ago. And the whole thing, I mean, even as far back, when something has just been, I don't want to say my identity, but it's just been something I've been passionate about and I've never been able to shake it off. And I remember in my third year in university, I had to do a business. I'm just giving you like a backstory. I had to do a business plan, and the business plan was to sell African artifacts to the West. Right? So I've always seen Africa not as a country that needs help, but as a country that has a lot to give the rest of the world. And 234 Finance is really the platform that will drive an African that works and that is empowered, and that there's just a lot of progress. And, Nigeria, I feel very blessed to be a Nigerian because as much as, there are a lot of negative things, Nigerians are very respected globally and we have a lot to give the world. We have everything. We have abundance of resources. We have abundance of human capital. I just feel like 234 is an ecosystem that supports human capital development, that supports people who are solving problems, right? So you can either, if you look at Africa, you look at Nigeria, you turn everywhere there are problems. So it's either you look at the problems or you look at how to solve those problems. So everyone just, can pick the sector or the niche that they want to, focus on. And I've just decided that I want to focus on a problem that solves problems, right? So if you're able to help an entrepreneur who's solving a problem, then it has a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So that has just, been the inspiration behind 234. And it's evolved over the years because we realized that writing blogs on how to do business, how to brand isn't what is going to solve problems. It's, interacting with the community and giving them access to capital. And this is why we've come up with our 5 core C's. We support with content because that was where it started. We support with capacity building. We support with community. We think it's not, it's an ecosystem. It's not any one person, but a joint effort of different stakeholders that, from creating an enabling environment from government to, bigger organizations and even individuals. And I've gotten support from all these different key stakeholders, community, capital, because all of these things is story if you don't have capital to execute. And we try to, do all of these things in our 5 C's. And we're hoping that we'll be able to have, even more impact as we go along. And we launched it 7 years ago now. We, in a bid to also interact with the SME community, we started the Mentor Matchup Challenge. We've run annually for the past 6 years. This year will be the 7th. And we find that, bringing people together is really powerful, because when you bring people together, magic happens.
Yes.
That's always what I say. And that is something we're going to continue to do, to, get people access that on a normal day they may not have access to. And we carefully curate the mentorship experience. And I mean, you've been to some of our programs and you've seen
several,
how it's evolved over the years. And we'll keep evolving, because we don't know it all. And there's always room for improvement and spreading that impact. But ultimately, we want to be able to create an integrated environment for Pan-African trade to happen. And being in Lagos, being in Nigeria, we're very blessed. The rest of the African countries really look up to us, believe it or not.
Right.
And whatever greatness we start here would spread across the continent.
Across the continent. So powerful. I remember one day we're in a juice bar in Ikoyi, and you were telling me for 1 hour about 234 finance.
Really?
So you've always been passionate about 234 finance, and it's just great to see so many businesses emerge out of it. Which one of the businesses make you the most happy that you've funded?
So the businesses that make me the most happy are
just one or two examples.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's I would say the businesses that are focused on local production.
Right.
And businesses that have scaled from our program, from the grants that we've given.
Yes.
There was a business, I think, when we met her before our program, she didn't have any machinery, so she wasn't able to produce her products at a scale that would help us,
cover more market.
More markets. But when she went through our program, because what we do, a lot of the initiatives that we see, people give them money, but there's no real follow-up to see, okay, how the capital that we're giving you,
how are you using
where
it?
are you deploying it into? So the businesses that we've seen really thrive are businesses we empowered by giving them machinery, helping them to scale, and helping them to cover more markets. And I mean, the success stories have just been very incredible, and it's very inspiring for us to keep, doing the work that we do and scaling it.
So powerful, so powerful. Do you see the place of a spiritual journey with this whole family business, 234 Finance? What is your leading scripture? What has God said to you that has helped you to hold your head, even though I know there's a lot of pressure on you?
So I think I'm still very much on the journey of figuring out. And it's interesting you mentioned it, because I was having a conversation with a very dear friend to me, and he said, Zine, there has to be like a melting point where 234 meets with what you do with Nepal. And I haven't figured it quite yet, but I think I'm at a place where my mom supports what I'm doing and, is now very actively on board in terms of, pushing what I'm doing. I just have to make sure there's no conflict of my time. So what I also do is I'm recruiting people and I'm letting them, run the day-to-day, and I step in when I need to. But I'm still figuring that out. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I know that there's going to be an intersection at some point.
So amazing. Thank you for sharing so much.
for
What would
having
you
me.
say to someone who is watching and today is having a problem with their parents, and they know that they're next in line to step into the business of their parents? So I would like you to speak direct to the camera and speak to someone like a young person who is watching and needs to just humble themselves and listen to their parents or learn from the system. There's this old Turk kind of deal in the business. But speak to a young person, for example.
So if you're a young person that is struggling with identity, because I understand the pressure and the identity struggle of, okay, doing my own thing versus just going to an existing structure. What I advise you, don't let go of your passion, because that is what would make you tick and makes you feel alive, but also be willing to compromise. I think compromise is that fine balance because as much as you want, your parents to see your point of view and understand you, you also have to understand that these people have, they are very experienced, and there's knowledge that they have that you can tap into, and that could even be helpful for your own venture or your hobby or anything that you're deeply passionate about. So getting them to buy into what you're doing or to support you, they need to see that you're responsible and that you're willing to learn and willing to not let their legacy die. For me personally with Nepal, I've seen my mom toil and I've seen her really support us. A lot of the privileges that I have today, if my mom wasn't empowered, I highly doubt that I'll have some of those privileges. So I cannot let that thing die, that thing that has brought me, that has supported, even my education, supported some of the exposures that I have. So I think, at the very least, you owe it to your parents to be involved in their business at whatever capacity that you really can. I always say play to your strengths.
Right.
It was a struggle for me when I started working in Nepal because I was trying to be everywhere and anywhere. But I've identified my skill set and I'm playing to my strength, and I'm making sure that at whatever stage I'm in, I'm creating value, right? And I think that is important. So if you're able to play to your strength, you'll find that you're able to create value very quickly. And it's almost like a bargain, right? Scratch my back, I scratch yours. So it's a bargain, is a negotiation. If even my 7-year-old understands the game of negotiations, always negotiating that, okay, if I want to get this out of mom, I also kind of have to do this. So it's just, finding that fine balance in negotiating and also making them see that you're responsible and you're not going to let their legacy die. And I think, if you're able to find that balance, especially if you're single, you don't have children, you don't have a lot of things dragging you, you should be able to make it work.
Make it work. I hear you. You brought up another important conversation, family, right? Your own family. You're now married to Mr. Nwazulu.
Yes.
My friend. I keep meeting him. And you guys have 3 boys.
Yes.
They are all growing up really fast now.
Yeah, it's incredible.
How do you integrate the different aspects of your life? Worship, work, your parents' family, which I know that you guys have separation anxiety among you and your siblings. You're always together.
We try.
And then your parent and your own nuclear family as well. So you have family at 2 points. Obviously, your parents' family is very strong. And also you now have your own family, and you have worship, and you have work, and you have travel, and you have so many things. How do you integrate these various parts of life?
I'm always juggling something.
Right.
I'm always juggling something. But if something is important to you, you always create the time for it.
Right.
And you always have to manage people.
Yes.
I even find these days I'm managing my staff.
Right.
People that I'm paying salary.
Yes, of course.
Because they help in giving me that sanity in how I juggle all these different roles. So it's not, I employed you, you work for me, this is how, no.
Right.
I'm always negotiating and managing people. So I guess, it's a God-given talent being a woman. You just always have to find a way to manage everyone, the different groups. And I think I'm very blessed because I have a supportive husband who, he's his own person and he doesn't feel intimidated or threatened by, whatever I think I have or I have access to. And he does his own thing and he lives up to his responsibility as the man of the house, and it's undisputed.
Right.
So it's just, managing the different moving parts of my life that keeps me grounded, and, having a very strict schedule as well, because I have a very strict routine. So I'm able to just, to manage. You
told me you're a routine girl.
Yeah. If I want to do anything consistently, it has to go into a routine. If not, that thing will not get done. So I think, it's just you're always managing different things.
So good.
That's what helps me stay sane.
Thank you so much. I've seen you grow. I've seen you build. I've seen you exert and expand. I've seen you become better. I've seen you hone your skills. I've seen you raise more money. I've seen you become richer.
Amen.
It's such a blessing to just see the blossoming of your life. And I pray that in all these things you're doing, your impact footprint will continue to grow. The people God has sent to you will be blessed because they met you. The businesses that you're empowering will continue to do well. So you don't feel like, oh, we're pouring money away.
Yeah.
And this money you draw and sacrificially place aside is actually growing the footprint of impact in all the markets which you send it. And this is actually what it feels like to be an evangelist, just being a good wife. I've seen you not hold on to foolish ideas of modern society. I've seen you almost hold on to traditional values. You're a wife, you're a wifely wife. Your Mr. Nwazulu is very happy with his wife, So I actually just admire what you guys are doing. And I know that it must take a toll on you. And as you stretch to become this person, I pray that you will always find grace in God and strength, not just even for this podcast. This is actually a genuine prayer for you.
Amen.
That it will keep on expanding and you keep on becoming effective in the things that you've been called out to do. Thank you for coming to Touch the Sky and giving us this time from your schedule.
Thank you, Pimo, for having me.
Truly
I was
appreciate
very
it.
happy to be here and I was
Truly
blessed by
appreciate
this.
it. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We've just finished this very, very engaging conversation with Ezinne Nwazulu on generational transfer. You see, the plan of God is for the fathers to pass inheritance to their children and the children to their children. The Bible says in the book of Malachi that he will turn the hearts of the fathers to their children and the heart of children to their fathers, or else the earth will be struck with a curse. In our conversation with Ezinne, also known as Ezinne, she began to emphasize the importance of the learnings that she took from her mom. She said that when she came as a young Turk, graduating from business school, working in Switzerland, coming back to Nigeria, she wanted to change everything all at once. She wanted to be the new kid on the block. She wanted to be this maverick who was going to make everything fantastic in one day. And she ran into roadblocks. I personally know the story because we had conversations after that. And she came back into the business again with a new pair of eyes, appreciating the work that her mom has done, learning more from the systems that have been created. And by doing that, she's built the business, even other divisions in the business, into an enviable entity. This is the invitation to which I give to you guys, if you're building anything, to realize the people who bring you through and the learnings that you have from it. Until next time, when I see you at Touch the Sky, follow me on social media. My handle is thismoses on Instagram. And you can also visit my website, which is collidecentral.com, where you can touch base with my book, Collide GPS for a New Generation. Until next time, see you. Transfer the wealth across generations. See you.
I wanna go to the sky, I wanna see through your eyes. Hey, I'm not believing the lies, I'm not believing the lies. I wanna go to the sky, I wanna see through your eyes. Hey, I'm not believing the lies.